Let's take you to the top story now. Of course, the High Court in Pretoria has declared lockdown alert levels 3 and 4 invalid and unconstitutional. I'm joined now by legal expert Ulrich Roux. Good evening, Ulrich. Thank you so much for joining us. I know that you had a very quick look at the judgment. How important is it? Is it something that's going to be corrected quite easily, quite quickly? It's just a bit of paperwork? Or could this have massive implications? And could it expose government to lawsuits?
Hi, good evening. No, certainly it does have massive implications. The High Court in Pretoria has granted Minister Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma 14 days within which to consult with her cabinet ministers and within which to consider the current rules and regulations imposed under lockdown level 3, because lockdown level 4 is obviously passed, and then to amend them accordingly so that they are in line with the Constitution. So a profound judgment today handed down saying that the regulations as passed on the 28th of May by the Minister are unconstitutional and are not in line with the Constitution, and he has given an opportunity to amend them accordingly.
Now, I spoke to Reino de Beer of this group that brought the action, Liberty Fighters Network, and he was saying essentially what it found is that some of the regulations, not all of them, but some of them were irrational. Now, I'm not sure which parts are irrational, but let's say it had a so-called irrational ruling, had an impact on someone's business. Doesn't that leave government open to being sued?
Yes, certainly. I think, they asked for the amendments to be declared unconstitutional, but more specifically, the two important prayers that they did ask for was for the court to find that gatherings must all be made legal, and secondly, that people's freedom of movement cannot be inhibited and cannot be taken away, as that is in direct contravention of the Constitution. So if a shop, for instance, that was forced to be closed, such as a hairdresser, which has come under, seen a lot of interest under the level 3 regulations, can prove that these regulations caused severe financial hardship for the business, led to severe strain being suffered by the owners of the business, then definitely there would be a possible damages claim that can be brought against the government. I think that what people must remember is that the court made it very clear that the finding today does not take into consideration the ban on the sale of cigarettes, and that is a judgment that's still waiting to happen, or they're still waiting to hand that judgment down, whether the prohibition on the sale of cigarettes is still in place or not.
Ulrich, what do you expect the government's next move to be? They're telling us the presidency has issued a statement saying that they've taken note of the judgment, they're studying it, and they will respond in due course. But do you expect it's almost automatic that they will challenge us? What do you think their next move will be?
Well, I think they need to consider it very carefully. I think Minister Dlamini-Zuma has come under a lot of scrutiny with the regulations that she has passed. We are all, of course, aware of the turnaround that the government made pertaining to the prohibition on the sale of cigarettes. And I think they need to consider this judgment very carefully. I think the only way that proper regulations and rules in terms of the lockdown can be implemented is if society supports that. And if society does not support that, then the government is in deep trouble. I mean, it might not be the biggest legal term, but I heard at court today someone was quoted as saying that the regulations are about as useful as an ashtray on a motorbike. And a lot of people feel that way. Society is angry and they feel that their needs and their constitutional rights must be taken into consideration. And if it is not, then the government must pay.
Thank you very much. That was a legal expert, Ulrich Roux, commenting, of course, on the breaking news this evening that levels 3 and 4 of the lockdown have been declared unconstitutional and invalid. That's all from me. Up next is ETV News with Annika Larsen. Take care and good night.